Okay, it's going. Okay, so welcome everyone. Let me repeat what I just said for the record here. Now that we got the recording going, and yes, okay. So welcome to the new student orientation. I hope you don't hear my noisy dog in the background. He's must be dinner time or something. Well, maybe one of my sons will take care of him. Anyway, so we'll move on to what is the structure of our orientation? Okay, well, three parts. One is faculty introductions. Two is student uh, resources. And three is director's remarks. So let's start off right with the faculty introductions. Dr. Rue, will you start us off?
Okay, can you share the screen with me? Because I've got a little PowerPoint.
I'll make you the presenter.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, I might need Michael a hand on this. They changed, this is a new interface, everyone, for WebEx, and previously I just had to click on you.
Oh.
Um,
Well,
well, anyway, let me
I
see.
can move forward. I could go do it without.
Okay, if you don't mind, Kevin.
No, I don't mind.
Okay,
And then I'll just send it to Michael so he can distribute it.
okay.
Um, well, as Dr. Warback was saying, my name is Kevin Ryu, and I welcome you to uh, a new adventure because all of you are going to be in my LAS 204 class, which is the foundations course. And that's the first foundational course for the program, as indicated by the title. Um, I've been at St. John's for 18 years, 18 years. And I've been, you know, really glad to be teaching a number of courses that I'm able to connect to my primary research interests, which some of you may share. And if you do, I'd be glad to chat with you about it. Um, I'm interested in information sharing and other information seeking and use behaviors. I'm interested in access to information as a social justice issue, which wasn't as prevalent in the discourse in our field, but now it really has become a big topic, and I enjoy talking with students and colleagues about that. And connected to that is the idea of information as a public good. We have a lot of ideas about information being something that's um, only belongs to someone, and you have to pay to get it and those things. And the library is one of the few outlets, information outlets, where information can be obtained at a very low cost. I usually don't say free because somebody pays for the libraries to be run, the staff and the materials and so forth. Um, but it's set up, especially in public libraries, as a public good, and in my courses that's emphasized. Um, I'm also interested in academic librarianship. So scholarly communication and university librarianship is another one of my interests. I'm currently editor of the Journal of Vincentian Social Action. So that really keeps me busy doing scholarly communication. I'll be glad to talk with you about that. I've already talked about public libraries. I'm also interested, especially um, as we proceed in this environment with so many dubious sources of information. I'm interested in propaganda theory and LAS research and practice. So when I have time to do research, I tend to do a lot of reading in there. The classes that I teach, as mentioned before, I teach the foundations of LAS, which is the basics that you need to know to really move forward in a graduate program in LAS. I also teach information use and users. This is a class that focuses on how people seek information and what do they do with it after they get it, and what are the motivations that drive them to seek out information. Um, I also teach planning and delivery, information literacy programs, which comes into play a lot in public libraries, but it also comes to play in law libraries or special libraries or so forth. One of our roles as librarians is to teach people how to be sophisticated consumers of information and to use information technology. So that all depends on how literacy programs are developed. So I do some work in that. This semester, the other class I'm teaching, besides 2 sections of LIS 204, are material and sources for diverse populations, which also is a very big topic nowadays, along with college and research libraries, public libraries, and social justice and the information professions. The way my classes are set up is along the lines of a graduate seminar. There's 4 components of pretty much everything we do. First is a read, think, do, and discuss, structure on there. And I'm also interested in everyone contributing to the class learning environment. We all come from different backgrounds. We're at different stages in our lives and in our careers, but we all have something to learn from one another. And so I kind of allow that to happen in my teaching spaces. One of the things that you're going to learn too as you go through this program and enter the information professions is that there are a lot of contingencies. We have to make a lot of decisions that aren't clear cut as to what is the best decision. So one of the things that we ask you to do in our courses here is to consider what information you need to make the best decisions for your information organization. So it's uses a lot of management and a lot of just understanding of the foundations of the profession. Those decisions are made that way. And then there's an emphasis on clear and professional communication. Our program is online, of course, but we still expect good communication, and you can't really convey information if communication is lacking. So we emphasize that in the class. This semester, like I said, I'm teaching LIS 204, both sections of it. And it began tonight at 6 o'clock. So those of you who are in LIS 204, your class is open and ready for you to take a look and start exploring and engaging with the activities. And LIS 222, which is the diverse populations, information resources for diverse populations, begins at tomorrow at 6 p.m. So that's what we're doing I'm doing this semester, and I'm really looking forward to getting to know all of you better, and let's keep the discussion going. Email is the best way to get in touch with me, but I'm very flexible. I like doing it. I like discussing things with students via WebEx or on the phone. So any of those choices is good. So once again, welcome, and good luck this semester. And again, let us know how you're doing. Don't if you're getting into some trouble or you see some challenges, make sure you keep the lines of communication open. Okay, so I'll be talking with you some more. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rue. Next up, Dr. Shari Lee.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to St. John's. Welcome to DLIS. And for those of you in my 205 course, there are 3 sections this semester. I'm teaching 2. So some of you may not have me for 205, which is the complementary course to the course Dr. Rue mentioned, LIS 205. So the 204 is the more theoretical aspects of what underpins our discipline, the foundational things. And in my course, we talk about the more hands-on things, like we actually do the doing. behind that you'll talk about in Dr. Ru's course. So if you are in one of my 205s, you would have had access about a week ago. Several of you have already posted your introductory paragraph, so thank you for that. I'm not going to talk too much about myself. I'm going to talk about things that will help you get through the program and my courses a little bit easier, with a little bit less stress. Okay, so in addition to the 205 course, I teach pretty much all the youth services courses. So some of you may be in my 121, my lit course. And if youth services is what you're interested in, teens, children, you will be taking many courses with me, unfortunately. So, prepare for that. Dr. Ru said something that's really important. You got to keep in touch. It is it's an online program, not just an online course, right? This is an online program. So this may be the only time, some of you see us, right? Other than that, it may be just email. For me, you can reach me by text, email, or within the course, because I have a thread where you can ask questions. I don't mind if you text me. I don't mind if you call me. And I don't really care what time it is. But that's just me because I work weird hours. So I'm going to give you my cell phone. Get your phones out, make a note of the number. You can always reach out to me. It's fine. If I don't respond right away, I'll respond as soon as I can. But feel free to reach out. I may be up at 3 o'clock in the morning, perfectly fine. So my cell is 310-703-2561. You can call me. If I don't pick up when you call, just send me a text because I may not know your number. So, just say, hey, it's me from this course. I have 2 sections of 205. I'm going to make a note so you can see which one's which. So just say to me section 1 or section 2 so that I know where to look for whatever issue you may be having, okay? So look for that. So the idea is if something's not going right, something's not clear, do not suffer in silence. There's no glory in it, trust me. Just ask, please feel free to ask. I think everything I put up there is really clear, right? It makes sense to me. It doesn't mean it makes sense to you, and that would be on me. So if something just makes no sense, ask, is this what you meant, or what did you mean by that? Perfectly fine. It's an online program course. There's going to be a lot of things that may just seem confusing or, overwhelming. If you need clarification, whatever it is, I can't stress enough that it's perfectly fine to reach out and ask, okay? So please do that. If you are interested in youth services and you want to talk about it a little more or you're not really sure, you can also set up an appointment to talk to me about that. I'm happy to talk about that, all right? In my courses, I mean what I say in the syllabus, read it. I send out a welcome email. It has a lot of information that will be helpful. All right, just read through the stuff. If you don't read the information that I provide and then, something happens, we're not on the same page. So please, take some time, just read through everything. If it's not clear again, ask, right? But this is how you're going to get information in my class, by reading. So if I provide something or something's there, take some time to read through it. I know it's a lot. Trust me. I have to read everything you give me back. I know, but this is how it works. So if we do that, we can have a really great experience. I guarantee you'll love this program. The feedback we get from graduates, everyone, fantastic. I will vouch for all my colleagues, including Dr. Vorbach, who is, the director. Everyone's here to help. Our goal is to help you get through this program successfully. We want you to succeed, right? I'm not here to make your life uncomfortable or to, terrorize you. It may feel like that sometimes, but that's not the goal. So just keep the lines of communication open. And, I made notes. Let me make sure that I talked about everything that I intended to. Let me just check. Hang on. Yeah. Oh, yeah. For those of you in the 121, I know there's trouble with the slides. This is not anything to do with, it's not your fault, not my fault. There was a new security protocol put in by IT. And now the slides that I have linked from the OneDrive, they don't show up in Canvas anymore. So we came up with a workaround today. So at some point tonight, I will go through the slides and make them all available. If you're in 205, this is not an issue for you. But if you're in 121 and you've been emailing and you're a little bit frustrated, it's okay. I will give extra time for anything you need. It's not going to be a problem, but it's nobody's fault. It's just tech. So we're working on that. So no problem. Don't worry about it. Okay. And if you have questions at the end of this, we will have a little Q&A. Save them and I'll try to answer them then. But welcome to St. John's. Welcome to DLIS.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. Next up, we have Dr. Christine Angel.
Hello, thank you. My name is Christine. I am currently on sabbatical, so none of you are going to see me this semester. However, I do teach the Organization of Information core course for St. John's University, and I also teach courses engaged that involve not only the organization of information, but information as it pertains to libraries, archives, museums, and the web. And so if you're interested in archives, records management, or any specific type of archival or records management area for future employment, that would be me. And so my suggestion is when you specialize, try to figure that out soon, because you want to be sure that you take the courses that are applicable to your desired field of study. And then in saying that, start now looking for that job, meaning don't wait until after you graduate. That's too late. Start getting your feet wet in terms of ASL, academic service learning, which the name is changing, volunteering, things like that, so that you can figure out if what you want to do is indeed what you want to do. Therefore, get experience in the field now. And B, you want to make sure you network. So start doing that. So I usually say that at the beginning of every semester for student introductions, because as you probably already know, it's not what classes you took or when you graduated or where you graduated from, but what did you do while you were there. So start looking now. And then 6 months before you graduate, that's generally when students are applying for jobs. So please don't wait until after the fact, or say, oh, I'm going to be graduating in 3 months. I'm not sure what to do for a job. You should start that now. So I teach the archival representation, archival principles and practices, museum informatics. That class I teach every spring semester. We do have a virtual component, virtual exchange component, which is what I'm involved in now with one of my colleagues. Her name's Alexandra Schreiber from Germany. So you're going to have many of experiences or opportunities to collaborate and participate in group projects with students, not only here at St. John's and DLIS, but abroad too. So thank you for being here. We love having you, and it's always a pleasure to see new faces and new students. And so welcome to the program, and thank you.
Oops.
Dr. Robach, you're
I wasn't.
muted.
Yeah, I was muted. Sorry about that. Thank you, Dr. Angel. And next up, we have Dr. Rajesh Singh.
Thank you, Dr. Robach. Hello, my name is Rajesh Singh, and I'm a faculty member here in DLIS. And most of the time, I teach 2 core courses like LIS 240 Management of Information Organization and LIS 239 Research and Evaluation Method. So we will have opportunity to work together later in the program. And I would like to give you information about the Advanced Certificate in Management for Information Professional. We have this 12-credit Advanced Certificate program. And if you have interest in this management certificate, you can plan it strategically right from the beginning of the program, and you can complete it. And you will have another credential, another piece of paper that you completed this certificate, and it will not cost you any money. So for example, in the fall, I'm teaching an elective course, project management for information professional, and it is a regardless of your interest in the management certificate, I highly recommend that a student consider taking it, and I would recommend you consider taking it. It will make you more marketable in the job market because project managers are always in demand, regardless of the type of organization you will be working for, whether archives, libraries, corporate libraries, or in private sector, whether they call it libraries or not. So that's kind of, there are 3 elective management courses in addition to the required course, management course. So project management is offered in the fall, and marketing and advocacy is offered in the spring, and knowledge management course is offered in the summer. So if you plan to take these 3 elective courses, you will complete management certificate, and that will be pretty valuable to you if you wish to pursue a management or leadership career. And I believe, regardless of what you think of management at this point, you will be managed by someone else, whether you would like to be in management position or not. So it will be helpful to have knowledge in all those areas. So think about it. And if you have any question about the management certificate program, you can reach out to me or any of my colleagues. In addition to those management courses, I also teach a couple of social justice related courses, like a cultural competence for information professional that is offered during the summer, and a fake news and misinformation course. And these 2 courses are part of the advanced certificate in social justice for information professional. The other 2 courses are taught by Dr. Kevin Ryu, services for diverse population and the social justice in the information profession. So if you have any question about this certificate, reach out to Dr. Ryu or me. Anybody else can answer your question as well. So it will not be possible to complete 2 certificates, but if you can plan one of those certificates at no extra cost. So discuss it with your academic advisor, and we can help you complete those certificates. So that's briefly about me. And if you have any question, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you and welcome to the program.
Thank you, Dr. Singh. Next up, we have Professor Ray Halliday.
Good evening, everybody. Well, I'm really excited to get to teach for the first time the LIS 249 Introduction to Archival Principles and Practices while Dr. Angel is on sabbatical. I've been teaching for St. John's now for 3 years, so I've taught the LIS 311 Records and Information Management course. I also developed and teach a course for San Jose State University, Advanced Leadership and Advocacy for Records Professionals. So between being a practitioner for 40 years, right at 40 years for the zoological profession, and just being involved in many things in the professional profession, I've been involved with the Institute of Certified Records Managers, which is actually how my relationship began with this university, working with Dr. Angel and Dr. Vorback for the partnership with the ICRM to get credit for those exams. So I talk a lot about that in the courses that I teach, and just being a very strong advocate for students, for their career advancement, getting them involved in the profession. You know, like Dr. Angel said before, you graduate, it's really important to start those relationships. So I make myself very available to my students. You can reach me anytime, Sunday through Thursday evenings or as needed. I usually do try to do at least one WebEx so that we can all kind of see each other face to face, hear about your stories, hear about what your dream jobs are and what you're hoping to accomplish for yourself in this exciting space. There's just so many cool jobs and so many new emerging opportunities for these skills and competencies. So I look forward to meeting all of the new students that I haven't met before. I have, I think, 5 or 7 that I taught in the spring with the RIM course. So looking forward to it. And I'll go ahead and let someone else talk now.
Thank you, Professor Halliday. Next, we have Professor Thomas Cleary. I believe he is, yep,
For you.
there you are.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'm Thomas Cleary. I'll be teaching Dr. Angel's LIS 257 on archival representation. It's a metadata focused class. I'm subbing for this year, but normally I've been an archivist for working in archives for 12 years, 7 of which as an academic librarian. And always very excited to talk about archives. I've worked through every step of the archival process, mostly focusing on digitization, content management systems. It's a very exciting field. There are niches a little bit for everybody and for every type of work. If you want to discuss archives, what the field looks like, different sort of roles you can play in it, very happy to discuss with anybody with that at any time too, as well as what an academic librarian does, as it sort of is difficult to describe at times. Yeah, just want to say that library degree is basically you'll get out of it what you put into it. And you'll definitely learn a lot in these classes and they'll set you up well for like the new professions as you enter them. Otherwise, my research focus is more on oral history and incorporating that into classroom teaching in colleges. So if you're interested in oral history, happy to discuss that as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Cleary. And I believe that wraps up our faculty introduction part of our orientation. If I missed anybody, just do give me a shout out. But I believe looking at the list here, I've gotten everybody who is here. I know some could not make it. Anyway, let's move ahead. So Michael Crossfox has prepared a segment on student resources. So at this time, we're going to pass it to Michael. Go ahead, Michael. Michael? Michael. What is happening to Michael's connection? Okay. Okay, so Michael just put a note in the chat. He's going to leave and come back in. Okay, well, let's give a minute for Michael to come back in. Some of you may have heard, they up. Michael's back in. Muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. I'm glad to see
All
you
right.
back.
Sorry that happened. I don't know what happened, but we'll move past it. I'm going to share my screen. Welcome, everybody. I'm Michael Crossfox. I'm your academic support assistant here in the Division of Library and Information Science. I've met with a few of you over the past couple of weeks to get you oriented in LIS 270. And so I'm just going to build on what we've discussed regarding LIS 270, and we're going to talk about the rest of the resources that are available to you during your program of study here in DLIS. So the first item is the weekly student digest. This goes out every Wednesday. You should have received it today. If you did not receive today's digest, or you haven't received a digest up until this point, if you're attending synchronously or you're watching the recording, please email me and let me know that you haven't received the digest, because we're going to have to work on making sure that you get this. This is vital communication. It goes back to what Dr. Angel said, what Dr. Reel, what all of the faculty have said in their introduction. This information is related to kind of co-curricular activities that will get you through the program. The reason why you're in this program is because our reputation as an LIS, as a library school, is sterling. It's gorgeous. Everybody in the field knows that St. John's alum do great things. Our leaders are focused on service, are focused on lending their voice and their experience, especially to the poor. That's part of our Vincentian mission. So you're here because you thoroughly researched all of the library programs, all of the online library programs, and you selected us and we selected you. So it's a mutual invitation to pursue this degree. And so to build on what the faculty have said, I am here at your service. I am here to get you through this program. And the digest is my primary point of service for the students in this program. So it's organized under headings. The first heading is announcements. This is kind of self-explanatory. I do want to let you know that now that we're kind of in the midst of hurricane season and wildfire season, as online students, we know that you're spread across the country. If you are under orders to evacuate or to relocate, let us know immediately. Dr. Lee said this: if something changes in your personal life where you are, let your instructors know, so that we can make adjustments. We can extend deadlines. We can work with you synchronously in a WebEx or a phone call to make sure that your needs are met. I've done things like relocate students into parishional housing, whether they're Catholic or not, but we have access to Catholic relief services and the support network of the greater global Vincentian community. So just be mindful of that. I'll expound on this later. We have a series of webinars coming up in the fall. There are 6 webinars that are going to take place, and these webinars are centered around alumni and other affiliated professionals talking to you in conversation with me, but they're really presenting to you the current state of affairs in LIS professions. So we'll hear from archivists, we'll hear from records managers, we'll hear from academic librarians, public librarians, youth services librarians, medical librarians, whatever that I book these people. We're going to hear from them. Everything that we do synchronously is recorded, and the recordings go on our YouTube page, including this meeting. So that's going forward. Just remember, we know that you're all in different time zones. So just be mindful that if you're invited to a synchronous event hosted by DLIS, a recording will be made available to you. I also include in the digest calls for submissions. These are opportunities for you to get published. Maybe a paper you wrote, or a project, a poster that you put together for a professional association, whatever is called for will be included in this calls for submissions section of the digest. If your presentation, poster, panel is accepted by a professional association or publication, you're eligible for a $500 scholarship. So keep that in mind as you go through the program. I know that Dr. Angel and Dr. Singh have produced a lot of presentations and awarded a lot of H.W. Wilson. So as you advance through the program, you can work with Professor Halliday and Professor Cleary to see if there's a moment where you can submit something for publication and get that on your CV. Opportunities, this is really just like funded PhD, post-grad work, and other fellowships and other opportunities for awards for academic pursuits. Scholarships, same thing, pretty clear. So these are internal scholarships faculty will award, but any external scholarships, and I'll go into this in a couple of slides. Internships, and opportunities for academic service learning are included in the digest. So again, if you're not receiving this weekly burst of information regarding to your career in LAS, you have to let me know so that we can work to rectify that. This is vital information. Events, these are professional training events hosted by national or regional professional development organizations or associations. A lot of them are free, most of them are online. So check the event space to see, in New York State, your public librarian certification requires continuing education. If check the requirements of your state, but as a graduate of a New York State-based library program, you will be eligible upon graduation for New York State certification as a public librarian. It's $5, so it's worth the investment for you to have that because you can roll that over into your home state or any other state in the US that you end up working in. Of course, it also transfers internationally. This resources heading is articles and things that I find interesting that I just recommend that you might want to take a look at. It may be stuff that's course related, it may be stuff that's career related, but resources is just a kind of general container for things in the news. It's a current events type of section. And then finally, jobs. You're updated with a minimum of 5 jobs per week. This is part of a national job search. A lot of them are entry level, but the primary reason for this is when I include director or manager, instructor, those keywords will help you define your job search. As Dr. Angel said, you should be looking for your dream job now. And so I present you with about 20 jobs that are currently available per week so that you can see what the job titles are in the market as you go through the program. And you can start to look at the descriptions, you can start to look at the roles and the definitions of the jobs so that you get a sense of what you might want to start looking for as you get closer to graduation. I'll talk more about that in just a moment. The next item that I want to show you is the DLIS blog, and this is pretty straightforward. This is updated weekly, if not daily. There's information here in the header, our programs, which include the advanced certificates, so you can take a look at those, as well as what Professor Halliday mentioned, which is the International the Institution of Certified Records Managers, and DLIS has a partnership that will allow you to graduate. If you do that tract of courses, it'll allow you to graduate as a certified records analyst, and then you can sit for the 5th and final part of the examination to become a certified records manager. And that boosts your starting salary upon graduation by up to $50,000. That's not an exaggeration. So these are programs that you can consider, and you can achieve these goals concurrent with your program of study. So you can graduate with the MS-LIS and one of our 2 advanced certificates, or as a certified records analyst. So there's value in these partnerships. Resources is just essentially a guide to how to navigate through the program. Our events, scholarships, if you're a new student or if you're a continuing student, we have 2 categories of scholarships that are offered internally. They're funded by our alumni and our affiliated partners. There's opportunities for fellowship. We've got 2 in-house fellowships. One is the Brother Emmett Corey H.W. Wilson Fellowship in Social Justice. So this is based out of Dr. Singh's LAS 239, where you do research methodology. And if you come up with a research project that's social justice oriented and you would like a stipend to pursue that research, you can apply for that fellowship. My screen just went black. I don't know what's happening with my computer. Okay. Student Association, you're all a member of DLIS, which is the student chapter of our student chapter of the American Library Association. So that's a thing. We'll talk about that in a couple of and executive board election. Finally, I want to discuss with you the DLIS LibGuide, which is your student handbook. If this page here loads. So the DLIS LibGuide is your student handbook, and it is where all of the information regarding your degree and the pursuit of the degree lives. If you've gone through 270, you've been back and forth to this at least twice, it's very important that you bookmark these. signon.stjohns.edu. You're going to be referred from the newsletter, from the digest, to the blog at least once a week. So sjudlis.com is the blog, and the LibGuide is campusguides.stjohns.edu/DLIS. As you advance through the program, there's information about scholarships, professional associations, internships, and your e-portfolio. So there's information there. That handbook or LibGuide is updated annually. So it should be current as you go through the program. New this year, there's a course in Canvas that all of you have access to called University Career Services. We do have a personal LIS career advisor / internship coordinator. We'll hear from him in the spring semester. Kenneth Egbegbo, he's the Assistant Director of Career Services, and he works specifically with our graduate students to find you a job and to find you internships. The services offered by Career Services, our University Career Services, include resume review and mock interviews. All of you as online students have access to this, so definitely take a look at the University Career Services course in Canvas and get access to Handshake, which is our job database, and there's also Forge, which is a remote work experience database. So you can do these small tasks for major global corporations remotely and chalk that up and put it into your resume as your CV as work experience. And that's really more focused on a records management side of things currently, but it's a great thing to explore and to look at because it's brand new for us at St. John's, so it may be brand new for you too. This is me, Cruz M, CRUZM at stjohns.edu. Email me any questions you have about the program. A few faculty members mentioned it. You're going to be assigned an advisor in a few weeks, and that will be your faculty advisor based on your interest or based on whatever you discussed with Dr. Vorbach during your interview. You'll be assigned an advisor. Our full-time faculty can advise you across the entire curriculum, across all of our specializations. But if you've expressed an interest in a specialization, the faculty advisor who wrote the specifications of that specialization you'll be assigned to them for advisement, and you'll meet with them a couple of weeks before registration begins for the spring semester. So that information should be going out to you probably at the beginning of October. Registration or advisement will begin around November when registration begins. So that's something to look forward to this semester. You're going to start building a connection and a relationship with one of our full-time faculty. Of course, you'll be building relationships with all of our full-time faculty during your program of study, but you'll be assigned to an advisor in the next few weeks. I always like to end my spiel with housekeeping. These are some important dates coming up. September 10th, next week, is the last day to change your class schedule. We're going to be closed on the 14th of October for what used to be called Columbus Day, but is now called Fall Mini Break. We're going to be closed on November 5 because there's a very important election happening. We're going to be closed on November 11 to give our veteran students a day of rest. November 12th is the last day to apply for a pass-fail option. You guys are all new, so that doesn't pertain to you because you're going to do your best. You're going to be all-stars. And then November 28th to 30th, we're closed for the Thanksgiving recess. So that's coming up. And then finally, everyone has said it in their own way, but I like to say it this way. You are pursuing your MSLIS on your own, but you're not alone. I'm here for you. Your faculty are here for you. One of the challenges of being enrolled in an online asynchronous graduate program is that you are removed from your classmates and your faculty by time and by distance. I'm the bridge. Email is the bridge. You may have heard in undergrad a professor say that if you email them, they'll get back to you within 48 hours. That is not our communication policy in DLIS. We view a student email as a student raising their hand in the classroom. I can't leave you like this for 48 hours. I have to get back to you as soon as I see that email. So that being said, I personally, my philosophy is that I want to provide you with a solution in 48 hours, a resolution in 48 hours. So email me. I check my email. I'm not as insomniac as Dr. Lee. I'm not going to be up at 3 a.m., but I check my email before I go to bed at night so that I just can email you and say, got it, saw it. I'm going to deal with it in the morning. Good night. So yeah, you're here, you're with us. We're all alone together. I'm in Buffalo. Dr. Vorbach is in Suffolk County. Like we're spread out just as much as you are. So that we all come together in moments like this is part of our philosophy and is part of why you're here. So welcome, and that's my shtick.
Okay, thank you very much, Michael. So now that's the second part of our orientation is on that Michael just did on student resources. And now I'm going to conclude the orientation with some remarks. So let me just go to my PowerPoint over here. Let's switch to share content, share. Okay, so you should all see a slide orientation outline, faculty introduction, student remarks, director's remarks. Michael?
Yes, we see that, Dr. Vorbach.
Yeah, we
Oh,
can see.
thanks, Scott. Okay, let's switch to slideshow. Okay, so that was our outline. My remarks are organized as follows: planning for your career, the e-portfolio, communications, and mentorship. First, in planning for your career, a couple of important factors. One is advisement. Advisement occurs prior to registration each term. So the next advisement will be in October. My role as director is to advise students, is to do the first advisement. Students that are when they're coming into the program, in roughly 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you'll be getting an email where you'll be assigned to a full-time faculty member as your permanent advisor in the program. And with that faculty member, you'll schedule your next advisement in October. Okay, what are you going to discuss? Well, first off is, of course, registration for the next term. Then more broadly, the meeting is you talking about your program of study, what questions you have, or what are you thinking along those lines. It's a bit early in October, but when you're further into the program, you should bring in into the meeting your e-portfolio, questions you have, the progress you've made on it, and then finally, also bring to this at your advisement meeting your career direction. What are your goals? Discuss that with your advisor. The second factor in terms of planning for your career is field experience. A number of possibilities. Number one, you could right now be working full time in the area that you would like to advance, for a library, for a museum, for another information center. Um, that of course is a obvious example of field experience, full-time, part-time work. The second especially if you're not engaged right now in working um, in an area that is related to your career goals, is internships. Okay, Michael mentioned that you'll be getting some information on internships in the weekly digest. That's true, but that's not enough. Unfortunately, we can only put out um, internships that we have received that have been emailed to us. So I would take the lead on this yourselves by going to your local information center, whether that be, depending on, again, what you want to explore, whether it's a public library, an academic library, a museum, or an archive. Uh, you know, go to that local institution that's convenient to you, and introduce yourself and talk about, you're in an MSLIS program right now, and you're interested in their internship programs. I mean, most of those institutions have formal internship programs. So get the information and bring that information back to your advisor at the next advisement meeting. The way internships work, you need to complete 204, 205 with the first two core, and then 203. Once you complete those three core, then you can take a formal internship for credit, that is. Certainly, the last item you see here, volunteer opportunities. If you make an introduction and the person you're speaking with says, hey, we could use some extra help in this particular department. Um, you could do it initially as a volunteer opportunity. Then when you complete those courses, um, do it as a formal internship. Complete the paperwork for the formal internship, which is internship agreement form, and then um, submit that along with your registration to get um, credit for the internship. Internships are 120 hours on site on the host site, and that's for 3 credits. And I may just don't want to drill down too deep during this meeting on that, but you should. I'll point you to the DLIS LibGuide or online student manual for more information on internships. Okay. The next two uh, factors under this planning for your career I'd like to mention is number three, professional engagement, and number four, career services. Professional engagement, professional associations, any area you're interested in going in, whether it's public, academic, archival, youth services, records management, they all have corresponding professional membership associations, and you should seek a student membership in those. The American Library Association and your local state library association generally have student memberships that are very reasonable, like around $40 or $50 a year. That's a good idea to take advantage of that combined membership in the ALA and your state library association. The state library association generally has annual conferences where you can present your work. You could submit your work for you generally in the form of a poster presentation or a lightning round talk. Lightning round talks are typically short, 5-10 minutes, but either way, their professional experience, and that you should definitely take advantage of that. The publications and presentations we have some support for that in two ways. We have the H.W. Wilson Professional Development Scholarship that Michael mentioned is a $500 scholarship if you have your work accepted for presentation at a professional conference. And the college, St. John's College, the college in which our department is located in the university, has a travel reimbursement fund of $500. So if you're going to present at the state or regional level in your state where there was some overnight expenses incurred, or also the registration fee, then you could get reimbursed up to $500 for those expenses. And then the last factor, Michael covered pretty well, and also I point you to the LibGuide uh, for this, is career services. Career services take advantage of what they have to offer you as an online student, and don't, you know, when you, as you have time, explore that, uh, explore those opportunities. They're outlined in the DLIS LibGuide, and also that course that Michael mentioned in Canvas that you have access to. The second second point in my little remarks here is your e-portfolio. I figure it's never too early to mention about the e-portfolio. The e-portfolio is our end of program assessment. It uses a platform called Digication. Digication is not a general website tool. It's a tool strictly for making e-portfolios, and you will get an account in Digication in your first term in uh, roughly, I would say, November. That'll be the time frame, if not sooner. You'll get an account in Digication. Once you get an account, you can complete the getting started tutorial, which is in the LibGuide on the ePortfolio tab, and you will that'll help you with just the basic syntax, how to create an e-portfolio, that kind of thing. The e-portfolio, what you're doing is the primary the part of the e-portfolio is the program goals section, in which there are 7 program goals for the MSLIS. These goals are, you can access the goals via the DLIS LibGuide on the portfolio page. And these 7 program goals, for each goal, you upload a course project or course assignment as evidence of satisfying the goal. In addition, you write a reflection for each of the goals in which you describe the relationship between the assignment that you uploaded and the goal, and you describe your learning from doing the assignment. Okay, that's kind of it in a nutshell. More details on the DLIS LibGuide. We also have a video posted on the ePortfolio tab of the online student manual that Michael created. Definitely take a look at that. Next is communications. This has been drilled into you throughout this orientation. Communications with the faculty, your instructor. These are basically 3 of the communications vehicles we have in the department. The weekly digest, as Michael mentioned, comes out on Wednesdays. The LibGuide is the online student manual. The link is right here for you to explore after our orientation, or as soon as you can get a chance. Definitely explore the online student manual, see what's there. And then finally, blog. The blog stores timely and high priority content. The weekly digest has links to the blog. So the weekly digest will give you a little snapshot of information and a link, and then that link will go to the blog where you have the details on whether it's an opportunity, an event, or um, um, what other category of information that's there on the weekly digest. The details will always be in the blog. You could search the blog directly, but it's easier to take advantage of the weekly digest and just click on the relevant links that you want. It'll take you right to the blog post. And finally, mentorship. Professional associations have mentorship programs, so I encourage you to explore once you're in the particular professional association, explore their mentorship programs. For new students, we have what's called a request, an online learning pedagogy mentorship opportunity. If you feel that you would like to hear from someone who's been through the program before, who could give you like their take on organizing their time when they were getting started in the program, um, here is an opportunity for you. You would email just DLIS@stjohns.edu if you're interested in having a online learning mentor. And finally, we have our Q&A, and that would be using the chat box. And please put in your questions. If you have questions there, I'm going to go to that in a second. And we'll have your, continue, make sure all your questions are answered. And I put this last little note here. Don't forget to complete the meningitis declination form or the meningitis form. Does not require a doctor's visit, but like 2 or 3 weeks into the term, if you haven't completed that form, you'll get disconnected from Canvas, and it takes 2 or 3 days to get you reconnected. So it's a hassle you want to avoid. So if you haven't completed the meningitis form yet, the instructions are on the email you got from me when I sent you your registration information. The link to the health services portal, or if you lost that information, that's okay. Just send me an email and I'll be happy to resend that to you. The health services portal link and the instructions there. So with that, let me close out of our sharing of the PowerPoint. Okay, and let's open up the chat box. Okay, so let us, by all means, add your questions here in the chat. I'll just hang out for either me or Michael or a member of the faculty. And if you have a question like later or tomorrow, by all means, email me and I will forward it to the person you want it directed to. Okay, I don't see any questions there. So with that, I'm gonna,
I have a comment slash question. Michael mentioned about the digest. I did not receive the digest today. I'm wondering if students received the digest today.
Yeah, I got 2 emails from students who haven't received the digest. So we have to work on them.
Yeah.
It's a problem that emerged over the summer where I think Gmail is not, like, Gmail is blocking it completely. And then there's something even internally where stjohns.edu is also blocking it. So I have to call our email host and for the digest and figure out what a solution could be. Because if you can't see it, it's bouncing back. So that means that it's not even getting into your spam. It's just being rejected by your local, your email provider. So I have to work with our team at GoDaddy, because also, incidentally, today the blog suffered 292 brute force attacks. So I don't know what's going on with our envelope of web services and everything. Like this change to WebEx, our change to the UIS, all of these things went live on January 1st, but the digest problem predates that. So I don't know if there was some kind of like SOPA, like some kind of regulation change regarding this kind of service, but we're paying for it. So
Yeah,
I just have to call.
I do want to say yes, because that's what's impacting Canvas as well. Depending on how you use Canvas, because, I embed everything from the OneDrive. I used to do it from my personal OneDrive, then I had to move to St. John's OneDrive. I'm linking the slides from Canvas and they're still not displaying because of the additional security protocols they put in place because of the last major hack that we were impacted by. So I think we're going to have a lot of little glitches. So I just wanted to add, yes. So if something's not displaying right, you didn't get something, that's why I said there's a whole lot of changes that have happened. And because of the last hack, I think they've even sort of like made stuff more secure. So I think that's really sort of like, yeah, wreaking havoc with the way we communicate. So if you're supposed to get something or you think, yeah, try to reach out in some other way to say, hey, I didn't get that. Because if you don't, we don't know that you didn't get something. So it's good to say, oh yeah, I didn't get that. So that we know that something's not going the way it should. But yeah,
Yeah,
expect
just
a
for
lot,
mentioning
expect
it.
a lot more. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, just for mentioning it today, during this event, I got 3 emails, including Dr. Singh's statement. So I will address it tomorrow. I will make sure that I send an email to all students and ask if you haven't gotten the digest, let me know. And then we can take a look at what's going on, because yeah, that's it's critical information, and there are ways that I can make it alternative. I may just actually syndicate it on the blog, so that every week when I post the digest, when I send the digest, I can also post the digest to the blog, and then you can use RSS to um, receive the digest via the blog and any changes made. So yeah, we'll talk about that when I see you all next week at our department meeting in Queens.
Okay, so thank you for those comments. And I think that's I don't see anything in the chat box, any questions? So I think we'll close. We'll close this orientation, and again with a welcome. We're so happy to have you join us in the program, and we're here to make sure you succeed. And all our best. And with that, have a very good rest of your day or evening. Take care.
Thank you.